Hello, YouTube. This is Jimjamatic here. Welcome to Heat C of Series 1 of the Robot Wars Reviews. I have a special guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
Hey, it's me, it's Masterath. Hello, how you doing?
Good to hear you on here, man. Very nice of you to join me for this.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
And You've definitely prepped to watch the episode, I'm hoping, because we've
I watched it earlier today, in fact.
I, I
Yes.
I was watching. I went on a binge last night, so I was watching like loads. I watched all of Series One randomly, so I thought, why not?
Wow. Okay.
It's what it is. It's only 6 episodes. It's not too long.
Yeah, that's true. So that'd be what, 3 hours tops. So
Yeah, it's nothing too much. But yeah, anyway, so I should probably start getting on to talking about the robots. That's the first thing we let's start to talk about in these heats. And as tradition, as we've done in the past two ones, we'll start with the heat winner and go down to the eventual loser in the gauntlet. So
spoilers, just in case. I know it's been so long since the episode was out, but just in case anyone didn't know, spoilers.
yeah, I mean it's 18 years old, this series. So
Man, that old.
1998, yeah.
Wow.
So if you
Yeah.
haven't watched this series yet, it's all on YouTube. Go and watch it. If you just want to just go, really risky and just watch it without risk spoilers, go ahead. But it's been knowledge for years who's won everything now, so it's your fault if you get spoiled. Let's just say that.
All I can say is don't make the mistake I made and watch the final of Robot Wars 2016 and then watch Series 1.
Uh,
Because it's a big sort of this is where it all started, and it's good, but it's
hmm.
like it's a shoving contest
It's
with
yeah,
most.
it's like trying to drive a Model T after driving a Ferrari.
Yeah,
It doesn't work.
yeah, or playing sort of Sonic 1 and then playing Sonic 06 right afterwards.
Actually, in fairness, I think that's an improve. Yeah, that's the sad thing of that we're going that's the wrong way round. It should be, but oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the robots, and we have the first appearance of a very very legendary robot here. George Francis's first Robot the Bruce, as the winner of this heat.
His full name is Sir George Francis.
Sir George Francis. He's
Yes. For
he's
contributions to roboteering.
he has
He
made so many.
uh
I mean,
yeah.
he's just an amazing roboteer in his own right. I mean, actually, this is actually not a bad. I mean, obviously, it's a heat winner, so that's not. I can't call that not a bad start. That's a great start to actually win the heat on your first appearance.
Exactly, yeah. Especially with a robot which really in nowadays robot standards didn't have a weapon.
No, I mean
I
it's
mean, they
probably
put
his
they,
least impressive robot out of the ones he's made, but it's
yeah,
not. It's efficient. So
what ahead of Dreadnought,
yeah, I mean Dreadnought looks
Mr.
better, but
Breakdown.
yeah, robots like Dreadnought, it looked better, but it didn't perform as well, as reliably, and as well.
The 2016 version, I think, of Dreadnought would be Pulsar.
Yeah, I mean Pulsar were definitely great robots, but again, as a great robot, again, it just kept there was a few things that kept going wrong with it, and unfortunately, it
Yeah,
hindered its overall performance. But robot,
stopping.
yeah, but it just kept stopping. Something wrong with the wheels one time. Yeah, it's just the drive seems to be a massive problem with them, from what I can gather.
Yeah.
But Robot the Bruce is a very reliable robot. It's actually better than I'd say it's better than Chaos, but obviously not better than Chaos 2, obviously.
Well, it would have been. Yeah, it'll definitely have been probably worse than Chaos if George Francis had been able to put the back plates on in the battle with Mace in
Yeah,
Series 2. But
actually, I've always argued that I think Chaos always looked quite hard to drive from what I gathered in
yeah,
Series 2. But I think in Robot the Bruce, since it's a bit slower and not as it's 4-wheel drive as opposed to two, it was like a lot easier to kind of maneuver, I guess.
if you sort of look at like the sort of design of the robot, of like the original Chaos, it's sort of like just a sleek Dietor if you look at it with the
Yeah, I can see that
background,
actually.
just a tad.
Yeah, I can see that a bit. I mean, obviously, it's nowhere near as fun as Diotor.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, if Chaos 2 was ever set on fire, that would be that would have been interesting. All we had was it driving into the pit in the World Championship. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
definitely a good start considering some robots like classic robots like Razor took until its fourth appearance to actually do well in a main series.
yeah,
So I mean, it's sad that he's only not managed to make a semi final twice. So out of his 6 appearances, 4 out of 6 is pretty decent, and
yeah,
it's a good first attempt, I have to admit, because it was just reliable. I mean, in Series 1, that's all you had to do was just work,
yeah.
and
That's kind of it. Especially when you had things like Dreadnought,
yeah.
that just and the devastating Grille.
I mean, I still don't get what the grill does. to stop. I mean, I think I heard it catches casters, but not every robot used casters. So I mean, I don't know.
When I first sort of saw it, I thought it was just like the grill was a bit lower down, so robots with like low ground clearance couldn't get off it.
Maybe because I think that's what happened to Plunderbird because they run on tracks and they
Yeah.
still got caught on it. So I think that might have been the case. But I think robots with high ground clearance tend not to be have an issue. Like probably Nemesis wouldn't get caught on it probably.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, but I mean they never got a
Like,
chance to.
I don't know, like 11 or Black Widow, if they actually started moving for a change.
Yeah, walkers were completely just. Also, Psycho Sprout would have a problem with the grill because it hasn't got wheels
Yeah.
on the
I'd
outside.
say probably, I'm going off topic already, but best Walker, Anarchy. Easy.
Oh yeah.
Anarchy was brilliant.
Well, the thing about Anarchy, it's one of those few Walker robots that compromised weight for weaponry and
Yeah.
maneuverability. Because some robots like they put all the weight into the machinery and go, oh, stick a saw on it. That's our weapon, and then and it
Black
can't do anything.
Widow.
Black
Black
Widow,
Widow.
Millennium Bug did the same
Yeah.
thing. Actually,
Seven.
Claude Hopper wasn't as bad because I think it was more stable than a lot of Walkers. Claude Hopper because it was just unlucky he got against bigger
Yeah.
brother. But
And then what sort of lower down in the weight divisions, you had Mammoth.
oh, Mammoth's sort of like the Deitor of the smaller
Yeah.
walkers, but it's still fun to watch. But yeah, Robot the
Yeah.
Bruce is. We are making a lot of tangents already. We're only about 6 minutes in.
Yeah, this is gonna be the longest episode ever.
Yeah, well, I was gonna take a. Oh well, I have to edit this anyway, so
Oh.
it doesn't matter. But yeah, Robot the Bruce, in short, is definitely well not the most. I mean, I would say overall this heat is probably the least interesting looking robots overall. I mean, most of them are wedges and boxes, one Dreadnought being probably the only exception. But it's still, as I said, it's reliable. It actually did the job. Did what it needs to do, and it was good. It was a decent first attempt for a eventually a brilliant driver.
If you were to like sort of have a robot competition which was all about looks, Revolution 2 would have won so many series.
I think personally, Death Warmed Up would have won Series 3 if that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Death Warmed Up, but it was sad it wasn't that good. But
Yeah.
I want it to be good. But anyway, I think that's Robot the Bruce covered for now.
That's fairly covered, I think. Robot the Bruce spent most of the time talking about Chaos and Walkers, but
Oh well,
that'll do.
that'll do. Anyway, so the runner-up in this heat was probably a very lucky runner-up. Was Wedgehog, another wedge.
The 24 kilo machine.
Against I mean it does highlight one of the problems with Series 1, which I guess was unavoidable, was the constant fluctuation of the different weights and heats.
Yeah.
Like you have Barry at 116, then you have like Demolisher at 3 kilograms, and you're like, why?
Yeah. And
But
with Wedgehog, it was pickaxe. I don't know which axe did less damage, Wedgehogs or Shunts.
I think Shunt is the point equally bad, but I think Shunt's technically worse because he should have done damage and it didn't. Well,
Yeah.
he didn't.
I wish I was on the last episode because the bit where it's you just got Jonathan Pierce, trying to hype up this match, and Mortis is taking more damage. Dunk, dunk,
Yeah,
like
and
scratching. If anything,
yeah.
it was the same in this heat when he went up against Plunderbird, and it was just like I could probably do more damage to Plunderbird.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. I think it wasn't until Series 2 where we actually saw actual damage to a degree on a robot. I mean,
Yeah.
Series 1 was just scratches, a few dents.
Well, Lee Bot and
Actually, that was the closest we got to actual destruction in this
that
set,
was
was
probably
Leebot.
the best. Well, and the amount of times that Sergeant Bash's saw came off. That's
Oh
probably
yeah, I mean he broke off at least 3 times, and
Yeah.
also actually probably Nemesis's fur coming off was kind of
Oh
close to
yeah.
I was only sacrificial fur though, but yeah, I mean Wedgehog really, unfortunately, it's one of those robots I think did get through slightly luckily, but it's not a bad robot. It's just I don't know. I just don't see what it could have done against Robot the Bruce in this heat final at all.
Yeah, I mean it's weird really because because you'd think Robot the Bruce, its ground clearance is huge,
Oh yeah,
and a wedge robot would have been the best chance, but the fact is that Wedgehog was what 60 kilos lighter,
yeah. It was about
so
a third of
even if
its
it
weight.
did get underneath, it'd have been spoilers again like the grand final of the first series.
Hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, Robot the Bruce did suffer from its ground clearance in the grand final quite massively.
Yeah,
And yeah, Wedgehog. I mean, it was quite a simple fight. All that happened in the heat final just came, pushed it in, then pushed him on the grill, and then Sergeant Bash's sword fell off again.
yeah.
Actually, no, no.
That seemed to be like a common occurrence, I believe, in Robot Wars, wasn't it? Sergeant Bash's saw falls off.
Or it just breaks, like in the case of Elvis.
Yeah.
It was funny though. It was funny when it was against Kilotron though, because it just flew off as opposed
Yeah.
to I mean, I don't even know how it did that, but it just managed to.
I've actually got a video I'm looking at right now, which is Robot Wars: The First Great War, and it's got like snippets of like all of Series One.
Hmm.
One, no mention of Jeremy Clarkson in it whatsoever. It was actually
Yeah.
Craig Charles. But they showed most of this heat, but they didn't show Body Hammer's heat.
No, yeah, no, yeah, it was weird. I don't really get that. Actually, they didn't show the featherweight heat either.
They didn't. No, what Cunning Plans heat?
Yeah, didn't show
Yeah,
any of that. They just at the end of the video when they showed the grand final. Oh, yeah, it's cunning plan. All right.
yeah. And then Body Hammer is like, who are these two? And the fact
No,
that
no, no,
Body
no.
Hammer
I,
is
th- I
finished
think
second.
I think they show Body's hammer heat. Body hammer's. I just don't think they showed cunning plan's heat.
I did not see much of Body Hammer's
It
heat.
was cut down a lot more than the other heats, I think, but it was
First
definitely
heat,
there.
yeah, first heat, and like second heat, and a bit of the third heat, and a bit of the sixth. But Body Hammer, which technically finished second,
Came
and they
third in
showed like
series two somehow.
yeah, they showed like very little of it.
Yeah, but going back to Wedgehog for a sec,
Yeah,
uh, I have no idea. I mean, the only way they could have won was that Robert the Bruce just broke, or they somehow managed to get underneath them and somehow flipped them on the side, which would be very lucky if that was the case.
onto the grill,
Onto
definitely.
the grill, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, on the grill, nothing really. I mean, I don't know what its armor was made of, but Matilda was actually able to get through it.
yeah, you'd think.
So
Even though I'd say probably in Robot Wars, what series one, probably Matilda had the best weapon.
it actually did most damage out of all the weapons.
Hmm.
I mean, Sergeant Bash didn't. I mean, Sergeant Bash all it did was set Nemesis on fire. 'Cause, I mean, Circulot wasn't around.
That's why I think in the 2016 series, Sergeant Bash isn't in it.
he's not. He's probably the least effective in the later series.
Yeah, because all he was there was for robots that were like prone to fire. That's the
Yeah,
we'd see Sergeant Bash in there.
that's true. I mean, he was probably. I can see why they didn't bring him back, but
Yeah,
oh, it's a shame not to see him. Maybe for the second, if there's a second series, they might think about bringing. I don't know, just for completion's sake. I have no idea.
never know.
I would be happy with that. I wouldn't mind that.
And then we'll see Mr. Psycho and Growler back, and then Cassius Chrome.
No, not Cassius Crow.
Not Cassius Chrome. No.
I'm fine with Mr. Psycho and Growler, but he was pushing it, Cassius Crow. He really was.
I think Psycho was pushing it. Growler was good.
Growler was actually quite cool, yeah.
I mean, the fact that there were some bits where it looked like that he'd eaten too many chilies the night before was great. The flamethrower behind,
Yeah.
it's
Like we
like,
told the Sparks, there was no reason for it, but just watching it was kind of funny.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
Hedgehog.
Wedgehog was
Yes.
it's all right, but it stood no chance realistically unless something by luck happened. But anyway, then
Yeah,
so
the only way it would have done it would have been, what if WYSIWYG was in the final? Then maybe they'd have had a shot.
oh, we'll get to WYSIWYG later.
Oh,
Right. So I think we'll pick we'll pick the other wedge then. Why not? Cruella. The robot actually had Martin Smith in it, one of the future judges, which is probably the only significant thing about this whole robot role.
yeah.
Because it's on the look of it, it's probably one of the most boring, apart from maybe like Robot the Bruce and like WYSIWYG, one of the most boring robots in the entire series. Just it literally is your most basic wedge you can get.
It's sort of like a wedge with cow skin on it,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think it's supposed to be like Dalmatian. Obviously, that's the Cruella theme going for it.
Oh, yeah, true.
But I have to say something about.
Oh, I get that now. Yeah, yeah.
Really? That's
Fair enough. No, because I didn't actually haven't actually sort of seen like the entire series one on YouTube until sort of very recently.
all right. Okay.
So I thought it was actually like Puala or something. They didn't actually in the first Great War video. They didn't actually like show.
Oh, I see.
Puala
Yeah.
coming out.
Oh, I can see why people like that maybe. But
Yeah.
actually, there's also a little bonus thing about Cruella's name is that it has the spelling of UEL in its name. That's come from University East London, where it came from.
Ah.
So there's actually like a spelling pun and included in it, which I quite like. But
Is it next? They're just going to say, and then there's Ella on the end. She was in Basil Brush. They're just going to do like just multiple ones now.
Might as
Ella's
well be.
R-U-E. You will rue the day you fought Cruella.
I will say something about Cruella though, and it's apparent in both its Series 1 and its Series 2 appearance, so it's all down to this guy, I really think. Philip Martin, the driver, again, I have no problems with, specifically against anyone, but I will say, he does not know how to drive robots.
Mm.
I mean, I mean, I remember Martin Smith a few times in the Heat kept saying, "Oh, his excuse was, oh, it's a very hard, difficult robot to drive. It's really good."
Yes.
How is a two-wheeled wedge that hard to drive? I mean, is Chaos 2 hard to drive? Is Firestorm hard to drive? Is Roadblock hard to drive? No, it's just that you made it too
Roadblock's
fast.
too slow. All you do is you just wait for a robot to get onto your wedge and then turn a bit.
Okay, fair enough, but in Series 2, I would have thought he would have learned his lesson, but then he
You'd have
still didn't know how
thought.
to drive it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like, there was many times, hell, he lost in this heat, and he could have probably won the heat, potentially, but he lost it because he drove onto the grill on pressure of nothing.
Yeah, I mean that match with Robot the Bruce, Cruella could have definitely won that.
I mean, they got
If
underneath them multiple times. Robot Bruce couldn't
yeah,
do anything to them.
yeah, if it was like let's say if it was to go like let's say a judge's decision or whatever, Cruella would have won that, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and then pressured by nothing, they just drive onto the grill. Like they were just like they were near it, but they weren't like
Yeah.
getting pushed towards it. And they just going, oh, we're going this way. And then it is quite funny though. In the intro, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they've got stuck already. This is a good sign.
The grill.
The
The
grill
most
even
devastating
the
of
grill even
all arena
affects the
hazards.
intros.
The
Oh
most
man.
devastating of all arena hazards. We have the drop zone, the flipper, the pit, and fire, and the grill. They
Actually,
should
yeah.
bring the grill back if they do Robot Wars 7 2017. They should bring back the grill.
Oh yeah, just plonk it in the middle of the arena and just yeah.
Yeah. In like the four ways at the start of the match or at the start, you've actually got to drive round the grill just to get to someone else.
Yeah. Actually, I've always had the theory that the grill is just it's just like a massive vacuum suction and you just can't get off
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like the one area like no, you just can't move now.
Would it be
But
sort of like the one from Robot Wars Extreme Destruction kind of thing?
oh god, that thing, yeah, that thing was annoying.
But the other way around, it sucks you in instead of sort of like just like how random wind blows away like 100 kilo robot. And I've even seen like the kilowatt robot in the game just go crazy
Yeah, I've seen many things
and
like
then
that.
fall off.
I've seen many funny glitches with that game.
Uh,
But yeah, Cruella is. It wasn't the best well-driven robot, and that's probably the ultimate reason why it didn't win this heat because it could have won it. Considering that the next robot we're going to talk about had no chance because it was very unreliable. And
oh.
Dreadnought, and admittedly they seem to have a few little reliability issues in this entire series. I mean,
You?
a few, and also in their entire career, Robot Wars, you seem to have this thing of just simple things like what one series is set on fire, series 2 they take the link out accidentally, and then series 3, I think series 4 was the only series where it didn't break down; it just got beaten by Thermidor.
Well, there you go then.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it just seems to have
Dreadnought.
this thing going for it, and I've never really been that impressed with Dreadnought in general. Even though it's like even though it appeared in 4 series, it never seemed to really like improve on the robot design. It just seemed to be the same thing.
In series one, if you first like sort of saw Dreadnought, you were there going, "That's a fairly good looking robot. That's a fairly good robot. If it looks as good as it drives, if
Hmm.
it drives as good as it looks, then it's gonna go far.
Plus,
It's going
it's
to
heavy as well. It was the second heaviest robot that entered, like
yeah,
90 something kilograms. So
92.6.
that was it. Yeah, very heavy.
Yeah, it's also 1.45 meters.
Wow, that's big.
That's huge.
That is huge, and it shows when you look at it how big. You can see how big it is just by looking at it. Sometimes
Yeah.
for some robots you can't get the scale of it, but you see some
Yeah.
robots like that, and you really can see its scale pretty easily.
All I can say really is, how in the world did it make it to like the final four of the heat?
Well,
How?
well, I think it's pretty. Well, the answer lies in the next robot, but go back to Dreadnought for a sec. I never understood how powerful the forks were supposed to be because they never really got to see them in action. I don't know if they broke down with the robot, but
I think the forklifts broke down like the first bit, and then they had to use the motor for the forklifts
oh,
to drive
okay.
the robot. I think so. That's why the forklifts didn't work, and that was the first trials actually, and then it was the football afterwards. And
Yeah,
they
I was
tried
right.
to use to scoop the ball, and they died again. All they did was die in Robot Wars, and they made it through 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing about Dreadnought was one thing I found quite funny about it is even though it had forks in every single appearance, I think the only time I've ever seen them move on their own was when they introduced the robot in this series.
Yes.
They never moved again, and I don't know if they were just decorative in Series 3 onwards or something, but they just never moved. They didn't look like they had any weight behind them.
Probably,
I,
yeah.
I mean, Series 1's, at least they look like I could lift something. Series 2 is like, while they're bigger, they're just, again, I think they were just meant to be like a wedge at that point.
Yeah, well,
But
even when it came to sort of like Series One, lifting forks were already outdated by then.
oh yeah, I mean yeah, there's some robots made use of them, but it was very like King Buxton's probably one of the few robots that actually
Well,
made use of
yeah,
them. But it's very rare. I mean, normally, obviously, lifters are actually more popular than actual forks because you can get more area and all that.
yeah,
But yeah, Dreadnought just man, they're probably one of the luckiest teams in this entire series. If
definitely.
they were in the previous heat with no stock robots, they would have been completely screwed. Any
Well,
heat without a stock
yeah,
robot, they just happened to be in a stock robot heat, and therefore that's the only reason they got through.
yeah,
I think there's no other reason they got through because they would obviously, if they'd lost in the gauntlet, they would have retired and the other robot would have got in. It was the trials, it would have just broke down, and then they would have instantly been out. Because it's a stock robot, you have to let them through anyway.
yeah. That's
And
not nice.
speaking of stock robots,
We're gonna kick some butt.
uh, WYSIWYG. And probably the worst of the stock robots, this one, admittedly.
Oh, what you see is what you get. Why did we have to get this?
I know, I could have got something way better than this. I mean, at least Grunt looked well, fast and well controlled, and the mouse it's stupid, but at least it was fast. This thing's just it's got no control on it, as far as I can tell. It just seems like also you can always hear the little whirring of the RC car underneath the plates. Quite
Yeah,
clearly, it's clearly just an RC car with a thing on top of it, and it shows in the steering. Because although I actually think I don't know if it's me or not, but in this trial, in the corner, I swear the driver's trying to purposely make it bad, so she's eliminated. Because in the
okay.
other ones, they actually went for it and had a good go. I don't know if it was because she wasn't good at driving, or it was just that she was purposely trying to get it to lose, so it would look less bullshit if it went out.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
just, yeah, I just love the fact that this is just one of the things I actually wanted to mention when it came to WYSIWYG's Gauntlet trial was just Jonathan Ross with it. Jonathan Ross? What am I doing
Whoa.
here? Oh, that's completely different. If Jonathan Ross did Raw Wars, no one would be watching. Uh, yeah, Jonathan Pierce, I just call him JP. So yeah, JP's commentary during WYSIWYG Gauntlet was his comments about technically women drivers.
Yeah.
So like, is a women driver and oh,
I
it's
think
side drive backwards.
I mean, no one likes perpetuating a stereotype, and unfortunately, the only two women drivers in the entire series was Barry and WYSIWYG,
Yeah,
neither of which did very good jobs, which is unfortunate because then people will start saying, "Oh, women can't drive." And it's like, well, these two can't. That's it.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's not many famous female drivers in the whole show anyway, which is a bit of a shame.
that's true.
I mean, the only one I think was actually showed a good skill was obviously Debs from Chompalot in the Iron Maidens tournament.
Yeah,
She did really. That was like the only time I've ever seen a female driver where you go, yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. But
but
yeah,
it's
just
going back
unfortunate.
to what was it? Going back to 1998 and hearing something like that from Jonathan Pierce, knowing that what 18 years later, you probably couldn't get away with that now because everything's so PC and all this stuff. You probably would have got like a few complaints to Ofcom or stuff like
Mm.
that. While back then it was just sort of like, like you're always talking about, yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
there's a few moments like that in the very first few series. Like in series two, they say burn it all to hell. They call one of the robots a bitch, I think, in the series. Or
yeah,
series two, and also I remember there's a joke that one of Craig's jokes at the beginning involves making fun of the tiny genitalia of Asian men.
yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like, okay, I thought, okay, 1999 makes sense, but I think when you just forget about that for a second, just watch it normally, you're like, oh, wow, okay.
And then you've got Bot Out of Hell.
Oh yeah, actually, that's not as bad though. That's just
That's
uh,
true.
that's just the phrase, really. But I mean, it's not. I mean, hell's really not much of a swear word, really. It's more like it's sort of a swear. It's more mild, I think, relatively speaking. It was actually talking about the actual place, I think. Well,
I think it's more. Well, I'm hoping since I'm a huge fan of Meatloaf myself, it's a reference to the song, but
it should be. Yeah, I imagine it
it
probably
should
is.
be. It
It
really
should
should
be if it
be.
isn't.
Actually, no. Let's hope it's not because that robot was terrible. So
Yeah, that's true. It
move on.
wasn't a good
It
robot.
was not good.
But yeah, WYSIWYG just I don't know. Again, it's probably the worst of the stock robots, just technically speaking, and it's a shame it took the place of a pretty popular team actually.
They kicked no butts during this entire series. They
Plun
just took a few little axe shots from Shunt.
yeah, Plunderbird. Plunderbird won because they knew there were going to be sequels, and they were obviously referencing the Thunderbirds, but it does add for a sequel at the same time. And what a shame for the. I mean, actually, I think Plunderbird looks pretty good. this series, in my
It
opinion.
does.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the Series 2 design as much. It was a bit too dark and a bit bland. The Series 1 at least had a proper weapon on it. Series 2 was just like a spike you never saw appear.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Series...
Plunderbird, the actual British innovators of interchangeable weaponry, got that
True.
tornado.
Yeah, they got the first ever interchangeable weapon,
Yes,
and
and
we
they
never got to see it.
dropped out in round one. But never mind, we'll forget that they did it first.
Yeah,
Mega
I mean,
kicked some butt. But yeah,
they were
they said
given...
that a lot.
I know they were given like no chance in this gauntlet run.
Yeah,
Like they just ran out and Shun just instantly pushed them onto the grill and they couldn't, obviously I think because of the ground clearance they just couldn't get off the grill, and then just Shun tried to do damage. I call it damage. It's more just a dent on top of it.
I'd say
But
it's more sort of like a feather just randomly turned up on Plunderbird, and Plunderbird like get it off me, and accidentally hit itself. Pretty much. It's like in
yeah,
Pokemon, he just got confused. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, one thing I made me laugh about Plunder, I think when I was watching the little, obviously when they introduced the robots at the beginning, like for most of it you can't even see Plunderbird.
Yeah.
It's just stuck in the smoke, and like is it your last moment you go, oh that's what it looks like. It was like I think there was what was the robot in Series 2? I think it was it Brute, that box on wheels, the wooden wheels. I think it was in
I
Series 2.
think so,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember that intro. You barely see the robot as well. I imagine you
Yeah.
barely see that robot anyway, but
Yeah. Now you mentioned that, actually, there was another thing I want to mention about in intro of one of the robots in this what was it, in this heat, which was Dreadnought's lovely intro
oh
of
yeah.
yay, Dreadnought smashing the wall.
Oh, Dreadnought, man. That's probably the worst. That's probably one of the worst, funniest intros ever.
And it's like, Dreadnought, it's our time on television.
Although I think
Ah!
hands down the gold medal goes to Demolisher in the next heat for funniest intro ever. I think bronze goes to Kilohertz, just ran into the wall and just lost control.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sad because, like, yeah, this is your first time to see the robots. You know, here's what they can do. Bang.
Here's what I could do. They are very badly driven.
Yeah, it was kind of it's kind of telling of the robot. Because I remember I was reading that it was like a robot guide like for Series 2 that came out ages ago, and I was reading, and Peter Gibson from Wheelosaurus admitted that his robot just lost drive as soon as it came out the door. So if you notice, it just kind of goes forward, stops, and just kind of fidgets a bit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that's a good start.
Oh, we know what's going to happen with that one then.
Hey, at least it did better than Dreadnought technically, and I know it had 100-year-old wheels,
Yeah,
so
well,
that's sad. That's
Dreadnought had
sad.
like probably like 100-year-old technology inside it.
It might as well have, to be honest with you. Also, looking at the wiring in
It did.
Dreadnought, just go back, it didn't look very neat. It looked very, very half-assed the way they put all the wiring together.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably might have been the reason partly. I don't know if it was. I'm not very savvy with electronics, but from what I could tell, it didn't look very. It looked very, very messed up inside there. Like they just throw all the wires in, like my cables. When I put my headphones in, just tangled up.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
we're saying pretty much that they put Dreadnought into a giant pocket,
it felt like that.
pretty much, and just walked around for a bit, and then they just went, God damn it, they're bloody tangled together. I put it all in the right place.
Oh, now it's set on fire.
Oh, now it's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Plunderbird definitely got the unluckiest. Apart from maybe Series 3, where they instantly broke down and just spun in a circle for 5 minutes before
Or when
Sickle
he
Lot
got
picked them up.
mauled by S3.
Actually, that's probably their saddest loss.
Yeah.
That's the one time they decided to go for wheels as well.
Yeah, bit of a mistake that one was.
I know. I mean, imagine tracks wouldn't have served much better because the armor wasn't very good clearly. So it would have just broke
Yeah.
the tracks anyway. It would have ended up like Limpet in Series 2, just cut through the tracks and that was it.
It's a shame because going back to Extreme Destruction, the game,
Mm.
Thunderbird 5 is broken on that game.
Oh God, it's brilliant.
It's so good.
It's so brilliant. It's so annoying as well. Like trying to
Yeah.
face it. It's like trying to beat Thor in Arenas of Destruction.
Yeah.
That thing is so annoying. Like you cannot
Oh,
hit that from
yeah.
any angle whatsoever.
Yeah. I've actually played through Arenas of Destruction. I think I played against Thor, and that was annoying.
I'm not a big fan of that game personally, but it's I think personally now since Robo Wars has become popular again, they better make like an Xbox One, PC, PS4 game of that with a new physics engine. Something a bit like Robot Wars Arena 2.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
love to just play as Carbide and just.
Yeah, because Robot Wars Arena 2 is closer to a Robot Wars game than the Robot Wars games themselves for the most
Yeah,
part, which is
it
sad.
is. It is, yeah.
Because it's a really good game. I still play it now. I still make random robots and stuff, and it's still fun. And the physics are actually decent on it. It's not that bad.
Same here. I just make wedge robots and go up against Killdozer. It's hilarious.
All I do is put loads of spinners on it and just
Ah,
walk and run in. I just one of those kind of people, but I don't really care because I just love destroying things.
and going back to Plunderbird 1, at least they won the Best Design Award for that.
I think they probably deserved it with that interchangeable weapon.
Yeah,
It was good design, although if Psycho hadn't won the original entry award,
that's true.
that was probably the weirdest. But I still think that's today the weirdest robot ever entered into Robot Wars, and I've seen PS Resistance.
Yeah,
The less we talk about that robot, the better.
I think so. Yes.
Although I still have to admit I friggin' love it. Even if it is absolute crap, I love how crap it is. It's good for a punchline, good for a cheap joke.
Yeah, like you love the fact that it's shit.
Yeah, because at least all the other robots weren't as pathetic as that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they moved and stuff. Well, I think PS Resistance moved okay, but in terms of like actual strength, it was like nothing. It was funny. But one thing, because now in these gauntlet stages, a lot of the robots did make it quite far in this gauntlet, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, in Series 1, unlike Series 2, the robot that lost, for the most part, tended to go really, really, like, not very far at all compared to everyone else. It was like a massive difference. While, like, in Series 2, it'd be like, oh, you're 30 centimeters away, or you're, almost a meter away, you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the exception probably was Body Hammer's Heat, where pretty much half the robots were shit. So nobody managed to make, like, Talk of the Devil, I think, Psycho Sprout Smile got rolled halfway across the arena, managed to make it.
Lucky gits.
Lucky, they got incredibly lucky, yeah. I mean, actually, probably the featherweight's actually overall the best. I mean, Vector Armageddon only got stuck on the second ramp, and that was the least distance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that problem with the gauntlets. Like, depending on which heat you are, you're either doing really well or or you just got unlucky. And I think overall, people were a lot better in this heat. But I think, yeah, I mean, it's probably WYSIWYG. It's definitely down to the WYSIWYG or Plunderbird being the worst in this entire gauntlet run. But
Yeah, I mean, you'd think, for, like Wedge. Well, Wedgehog did all right. What was it, like third
the
best?
third thing, yeah, it was able to maneuver the. I think it was small enough. It was able to maneuver the maze pretty easily.
Yeah, but WYSIWYG couldn't do that.
Oh
But
yeah, man, when the WYSIWYG has car steering like all those like RC cars
yeah,
have, so it just had no turning circle.
yeah.
It's like
It was
it's like
that
old
was like the
sport.
only good time we actually saw something good come out of Dreadnought, and then it
Yeah.
it blew up pretty much.
Had to-
It was a Samsung Note 7. All right, that's
Oh yeah.
on the underside. It's a
Oh,
Note 7.
definitely. But yeah, these gauntlet runs, I think we're kind of agreed when I was talking about the other two reviews that while the gauntlets are inherently majorly flawed in their design, not letting robots that aren't built for combat through, but not letting robots that are probably more like Caliban, for example, in Series 1, no, Series 2,
Yeah,
sorry, way more deserving of combat than PS Resistance, but got further because of just bullshit Circle Lot picking them up.
yeah.
But in
I
this,
think it's especially sort of like Kill-Lot, and I think Kill-Lot and Shunt mostly when it came to the trials.
oh yeah,
Those were
true.
probably two the worst ones. Matilda and Dead Metal were alright.
And yeah, I guess so. I mean, actually,
Sergeant Bash was good, but yeah, it was mostly Kill-Lot and
I think
Kill-Lot.
Sarge Bash pretty much did nothing in most of the trials. I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, he fell off the sumo ring or whatever it was. What it was, no, King of the Castle, sorry.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think Series One, the only advantage I think Series One has over Series Two in the Gauntlet is they didn't change it once. It stayed constant. I mean, it might be good budget reasons probably. I
probably.
think. But at the same time, I think that benefited it though, because then there was no bricks randomly one episode, or the house robots weren't just holding the ramp down one episode, or oh, we're gonna have a sentinel now for this rest half of the series. Good luck to you guys in these heats.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Mace. Oh wait, bye. It's like, oh come
Nice.
on. I just don't get the Series Two has that's the biggest problem with Series Two. I think in the Gauntlets is that they just constantly change it. Like I don't think Mace or Chaos would have got past the brick wall,
That's true.
but they got past the barrels because they're easy.
At least when it came to the gauntlets though in Series 1, we got the great line from JP in the first heat, which was onto my bent bed springs.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I'll tell you, they're painful.
Yeah,
You won't beat springs with a pickaxe, boys. It's like they tried to get off the ramp.
I don't know
They're
why
not
you'd
trying
want
to
to do that.
hurt bed springs.
I don't know why you'd want to do that, but whatever.
Ask
Yeah,
Killatron that. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, probably this one and that heat were probably the two heats, I think that probably what does lead. There was actually maybe also the featherweight heat for the most part. There wasn't actually that much like but many bad runs overall. It was mostly just down to being unlucky and being in a stock robots heat for two of them.
Down to Shunt.
Down to Shunt, yeah. Shunt
Shunt.
ruins everything.
Shunt ruins everything. You and your stupid little pickaxe.
Yeah, he's only good at the sumo. That's not the only thing he's good at. And then in Series 2, he
And
gives to Dead Metal.
Nemesis beat you.
Yeah, Nemesis managed to beat you for quite a while.
Then again, Dietor did beat Tornado as well, so we
Yes, they
actually got to give Team Dietor, Team Nemesis, we got to give them at least a bit of credit. They beat Shunt in the sumo, and they've actually got a win over Tornado. So
that is nothing to be sniffed at.
exactly.
But yeah, I would say this Gauntlet run wasn't the worst one. Again, I think probably Bodyhammer's heat, or maybe Tracy's heat. I think there was a bit more ganging up on, a bit more on those two.
Yeah.
I think this one was probably more clean. I think Roblox was slightly cleaner because again, only Barry really did badly. But yeah, I think in this one it was like, yeah, this one was all right. It was salvageable to say the least.
So Gauntlet, pretty much when you got like Gauntlet, it was all good so far.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, yeah, Trials though, the football's one of those events that it's either very hit. It depends on the robots who's in it. Like you could get a Velociripper, really cool goal, or you could just get, or in the case of Elvis and all that kind of just pottering about and not even hitting the ball until House Robots just go, ugh, give me the ball.
Don't get me started on bloody Elvis.
Oh, Elvis!
I just see Elvis, and I saw Elvis for the first time, and it's just like, what is this?
Well, I might be able to get in for that heat potentially then if you want to rant about Elvis. Or
Sounds like a great idea.
that's a good idea then. It's also got Razor in that heat, so whoa, brilliant, awesome. I want to talk about Razor loads and loads.
Maybe you need to get Anderson in for that heat then, because.
Oh yeah, because I think we have a mutual disdain of Razor.
Yes, I think, and it'll. To be honest, the video would be probably about 7 hours long, and 6 out of that hours would just be Razor related.
Yeah, I mean this football though. I mean you have Dreadnought in the middle not doing anything. WYSIWYG trying to purposely not do anything and then pretending to quote unquote break down.
Robot the Bruce just
dominating,
scoring, and then be like, nope, see ya.
And Wedgehog and Cruella trying to see whose wedge is better, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there were some good things about the football. For example, look at that, get out of the way, Dreadnought.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the least bullshit trials, because at least all it is about is just your driving skill and stuff, or adding bits of metal onto the front of you.
You say least bullshit trial until the end when WYSIWYG and Dreadnought both broke down.
Well, in fairness, though, this was because of the stock robot rule, though. This happens in Cassius's heat, where like 3 of the robots didn't do anything, but rightfully Sting was eliminated because they broke down way in advance compared to everyone else, and the others were just getting bullied.
Yeah. I'd say if that's the case, then just let he come out and like say that instead of saying the missed touches of the ball. It's like it was in the middle of the bloody like football arena, you could say. It was in the middle. It's bloody huge, and most of the touches probably came off people smashing the ball into Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, and this is the sad reality though, because obviously if the stock robots weren't allowed to get past the gauntlet, Plunderbird 1 would have been in the battles easily. Yeah. I mean, even if they didn't score, they just had to move, and they would have got through. So it would have been obvious who was out then, because obviously the one who broke down, in that case, would have just said, "Oh, Dreadnought clearly broke down, so therefore it doesn't count. They're out." Yeah. So, but yeah,
I think that should be because I mean, I know sort of the stock rule and everything. It's a bit shit, but I can understand it. But that's sort of like playing an actual game of football, and having like a goalkeeper who's in like a sumo, like one of those sumo suits, and them falling on the ball, and then for 15 minutes, people are trying to get the ball off him by rolling him over, but he's fallen asleep. He is sandbagging on the ball, and he gets man of the match because he spent most time in possession with the ball.
That sounds like Evil Weevil versus Alien in Series 3.
Yeah.
That was the most boring match ever. No one knew what they were doing. No one was trying to... I think Miss Hilda was trying to score a goal more than they were.
Well, I don't know. There was a fight in Robot Wars 2016 that may rival that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I believe. When both robots were just like, we're going to spin on only one side of our wheels for like a minute.
I'm not going to call the match at any point, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
at that point, JP's just there going, do I want to be back here?
Yeah. It's all worth it for the grand finals, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, I think the football's been talked about, I reckon. And now the battles, and obviously Series 1 and 2 battles are the most interesting battles ever made.
Shove, 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 shove.
Oh, you went on the grill. Eliminated.
Shove,
Then
shove,
Series
shove,
2.
grill.
In Series 2. Oh, what, an atom of your tiny little weapon managed to get into the PPZ. Kill! Kill it till
And
it
Mortis is
dies.
taking more damage. Dunk, dunk, dunk.
I mean, admittedly, Series 1 arena was definitely a lot more fair than Series 2, because Series 1's arena looks very close to Series 8, the new Reboot's arena. It
Yeah.
looks very similar to it, but Series 2, obviously, when we get to that, the PPZ is the worst thing ever made.
The patrol zone.
Because it just gave them an excuse to just completely destroy them with no consequences.
Well, try to destroy them.
Well, they just picked them up and just, like, bullied them, or just flipped
Yeah.
them over, and I was like, okay, you're done now. You won because you touched it a tiny bit of the PPZ. Or some robots get through and some don't. It's luck sometimes.
Yeah, that's just proof of the fact of how bad the PPZ was. It starts off with the letters P and P.
Yeah.
So, no, that's fair proof.
They came to their senses in Series 3, though, and brought back the corner ones.
The CPZ, which sounds better than the PPZ.
It sounds better, and it's a lot fairer as well.
Yeah.
Because and basically the arena didn't really change much, apart from adding maybe the pit button. I think that was it, really. And maybe the spinny thing that did nothing.
Yeah.
I think apart from that, it probably stayed the same.
What was it? The floor spinner.
Oh yeah, that did nothing half the time.
Yeah, that was about the centrifugal force. It's like if it was somewhere near the pit, then fine.
Hmm.
But it was nowhere near the pit.
Although actually, quite pathetically, I was watching Randy a few weeks ago. I was watching the Dutch Robot Wars series. Obviously, I can't tell what they're saying. I'm just like watching the robots, and one robot got immobilized by the spinner.
Wow.
It got flung slightly. It didn't hit the wall. It just flung slightly and stopped moving.
What was it, Bam Bam or something?
No, it wasn't Bam. Actually, Bam Bam was actually quite reliable. It was just crap.
It was reliable, but crap.
Yeah, it's like Nemesis. It's not good, but at least it moves.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. It was some forgettable first round robot. I can't remember. But yeah, I wish I could remember it now. I can't. But I just remember it getting a mobile. I was like, really? That's what I've never. That's the only time it's ever happened, ever. And the only time it was ever entertaining or useful, and it was against like the middleweights and featherweights, because they get flung half across the arena because of it. I think that was like the only time it was ever fun.
Yeah.
But I think heavyweights are not going to move anywhere, so it's just pointless.
Nothing could be done.
Yeah, but yeah, the trial. I mean, these battles. I mean, I think we discussed before the Robot the Roos versus Cruella fight. How basically Cruella was dominating and then just randomly drove into the grill.
Yeah.
And knocked themselves out.
Yeah, when it comes to the grill, I just think they should have just made a T-shirt that just says "Arrive, run onto grill, leave."
Yeah, that should be like a
also,
card.
I've actually just noticed. I just thought it was grill spelled, like a George Foreman grill.
Oh right.
It's got an E on the end.
Yeah.
So it's like a grille.
Grill, a French grill. Is that a phone?
Guile's theme, Street Fighter. Sorry.
Oh, I thought. I can understand.
It goes with everything.
Even the grill.
Yes, it does. That'll be it. There you go. Grill's theme.
Actually, I remember I was on Twitter once, and I was just saying. I think I posted something saying. Oh, then my friend saying, "Oh, I'm binge watching series 1," and he said, "I still don't." I said, "One question: What the hell does the grill do?" And someone replied with that. It was from the Simpsons episode where it's like, "Le grill? What the hell is that?"
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's the funniest thing ever. I was like, "Oh my god, that's perfect." Because it never makes an appearance again. It never makes an appearance again, apart from being on obviously replace it with the flame grill and the bullshit spikes. But yeah, that's more of a Series 3 problem than Series 2 and 1.
The spikes did a bit of damage. I think it was, what was it? Oh, who was it? Stealth, wasn't it? In Hypnodisc's heat.
Oh, that was pretty. Yeah, the taking the saw off. That was pretty.
It did probably like 2 things. I think 3 tops. I think it buggered Bim off that once, didn't it?
It buggered Bim off. It ironically buggered up Pitbull. Berserk 2.
Yeah.
It killed Scarab. Randomly.
Yep.
Not this series Scarab, the future Series 3 Scarab. Yeah, it was pretty bad. The spikes overall.
A bit, at least. It did a bit, while the grill was just like, you walk on here, you're not getting off. And it's like, that's what it's for.
I mean, the next battle is even less interesting. Dreadnought against Wedgehog, and literally they push around for a bit. Wedgehog's almost pushed onto the grill by Dreadnought, but just as it's about to do that, it breaks down again.
Ooh.
Oh, why are we so surprised? We shouldn't be
Why
surprised.
aren't we so surprised? I just like the fact that there's the great quotation from Jonathan Pierce here: Dreadnought, the big slug, versus against Wedgehog, the piece of cheese.
Yeah, a piece of cheese with a toothpick.
So it's like I know it's a wedge robot,
But come on.
but I don't know. Does that mean that Cruella's a piece of cheese?
We'll just wait until hard cheese in Series 2 and the
Yeah.
big cheese in Series 3.
Or
But,
just wait for hard to turn up as well.
yeah, that gives you a few more opportunities than just cheese, though. So,
Yeah.
but
Piece of Viagra. I don't know.
yeah, probably. But yeah, this is a pretty boring fight considering Series 1
It
and 2
was very,
standards.
yeah.
It was predictable as well because you just knew it was going to break down. It was just when as
Yeah.
opposed to how.
I mean, it's like, will Wedgehog win? Will Wedgehog beat Dreadnought? Yeah, of course it will, because
Yeah, of
Dreadnought
course
will break down.
yeah.
Arrive, break down, leave. They've got to get those T-shirts out.
And if a battle could even be more boring, it's the heat final.
Oh yeah.
Runs into him for a little bit, then pushes onto the grill.
The return of the grill.
Actually, one of my favourite JP quotes though: "Brute force against the toothpick."
Yeah.
That's basically how you boil down this heat final. It was It was one effective rammer versus an ineffective axe. Who's gonna win?
I wonder if there's actually going to be someone who's, like going to do like a top 10 or whatever, the most hated things in Robot Wars for them. So they'll put things like the grill on there. They'll put on maybe the floor spikes.
The producers in Series 7.
The producers of Series 7.
Definitely. Yeah, the chain. Yeah. I probably might do that sometime. Actually, that's good. I was
Something
thinking,
like that. The entire hippopotamus robot.
yeah, that's a separate category. Well, that's worse robots. The producers, I don't think it's the Gauntlet's fault that PS Resistance is shit.
Yeah,
it is their fault.
I'd say be careful with that because my most viewed video has got like the most dislikes on it, most likes just because I said Typhoon 2 was annoying.
Wow, it's true, but
yeah, it's like I don't know. I do not know, right? How many people they brown nosed to get us that far? The robot is great, but it smashed into the sidewall. Right, and it was allowed to spin up to full speed.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Why?
I don't know.
That's like parents saying you're in school, you punch the person next to you while you're in school, and then you're awarded with £100.
Yeah.
For doing that, it's like, come on.
Yeah, it was a very bullshit series in behind the scenes wise in some areas. It's probably one of the more overall controversial series. Probably why people don't like it as much. I think if it exclude that, I think Series 7 is quite a good series. It just has that unfortunate side thing where you think, that you can tell the entire time what's happening in the background.
Yeah.
The pit's rising up. The pit's rising up.
Yeah. In my video, I actually mentioned both times that happened, which was Bigger Brother Tornado.
Oh God, yeah.
I actually just thought that's another thing you put on like the top 10 most hated things in Robot Wars. You could also put on J Middle Miss as well.
Yeah.
I
don't think she's as bad, but yeah.
In comparison to Julia Reed and Philippa Forrester.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, comparison-wise, yeah.
And now I can put Angela Scannion in there. She's way better than J Middle Miss.
Oh yeah. She's definitely better than the two.
Yeah, but at least in this heat, this series, multiple series after this, at least we got either Philippa Forrester or Julia Reed, so that's good.
That's cool. We got them for a while, yeah.
Yeah. And once you get to Series 7, it's going to be like, look at his little face! Oh, no!
Nah, yeah.
Terra Turtle, why?
Oh, God, there's so many bad robots.
M2'd.
Like, people make fun of Series 1 and maybe Series 1 to 3 of having so many shit robots. I'm sorry, has anyone watched Series 5 to 7?
Yeah.
And just count the amount of shit robots that enter those four-way melees and stuff.
Terra Turtle,
Dome, Cliptonite, Twister, Rohog, Scary Go Round, Monad, and its sequel 4x4, and then its sequel Topbot, all of which were classic robots that didn't do very well. And unfortunately, since after Dietor retired in Series 5, 4x4 was the Irish representative in the series. And then they represented Ireland as Topbot, and they sucked. So, Dietor, we need you back.
We need you back, Dietor.
We need you back. There's no one else in Ireland holding the flag at the moment. We need it. But yeah, this is how interesting this heat can be at times. We spent more time talking about Series 7 than the heat final.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, to be honest, that's because there's a lot more going on in Series 7 than there was in this Heat final.
Yeah, I mean the next heat, I think I know. When I was talking to Anson and also talking to Sam off camera, they said that the next heat is their least favorite heat in the series.
Ooh, lordy.
And I will admit, it's not a good series, but sort of like Series 2, I just think I think because unlike I think Series 2 is more of a nostalgic series rather than being a good series. I think this is a similar thing. I just kind of enjoy the silliness of having all featherweights. I know why, because like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, no matter who wins, you're not going to win anyway. So it's
Well,
just sort of a side competition. This whole heat.
it could have been the ant weights though, because the ant weights are vicious.
Oh, they're surprisingly more vicious than
Combat
the
ant, for
heavyweights.
God's sakes.
Oh god, they just rip them
Vicious.
apart.
Yeah, but it's like people don't like this heat. What's wrong with bugs?
Many things are wrong with bugs, but I think Anson is on that
Bad.
heat, so he's gonna. When you hear that, you'll hear a lot of ranting because he considers that his least favorite robot in this series.
What, bugs?
Yeah, in this series one. So yeah, he's gonna enjoy the little rant when you hear that because I disagree, but hey, that's what rants are for.
Anderson, what you on, mate?
I think he'll have to reply to that one. I have no comment. I don't really care about. I forget Bugs' existence, to be quite honest with you. As opposed,
So did I until I actually saw the next scene. It's like, oh yeah, bugs. I forgot about him.
it's like crazy.
What's wrong with him?
It's like Crazy Tokyo. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's worse, but whatever.
Yeah, well, there you go, Anderson. There you go. Have a go at that one. Don't deserve bugs. Poor guy.
Yeah. Anyway,
What did he do?
I think this episode has drawn an actual conclusion. I think 'cause we've got nothing else. We're just talking about other things at this point, as opposed to the actual.
Pretty much,
theme.
yes.
So yeah, I mean, thank you for joining me, Masterath. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure to have been here.
Pleasure being here. Pleasure to rant. Pleasure to go off topic, and pleasure to divulge. But all very good.
And I didn't make a pun in this entire one, so I think I'm actually fairly good on podcasts now.
Do you want to end it with a pun, or do you think it's not worth it?
I ain't got one. So.
You ain't got one. Ah, fair enough then.
Uh,
Well, I'm sure the next heat will really bug Anderson. There we go.
there it is, yes.
Sorry, had to get one in.
And I will be sat Arn here in this chair listening to it.
Oh, that was forced.
It was very forced. In fact, you could say my mind is very crazy, Tokyo. And now I will demolish this bloody thing. I'm out there.
That was a very cunning plan, that. Anyway. Oh, God.
But no worries, I have a cunning plan for the next one.
I don't know how I'm going to edit this episode. It's like...
It's great difficulty.
It'd be great, though. I'm just going to have to, because I timestamp everything. This is going to be mental to time. I've got, I normally have about 40, 50 timestamps. It's going to be, 100. Oh.
It's like the 4th of September, so 2016. So you guys will probably be seeing this in about 2018.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if this last bit, I'm just having one image. I'm not editing any more stuff in at this point.
Yeah. Well, you can see that for like the next episode because there'll be timestamp for the next episode. So
Yeah. I'll see myself on the next review. I'll have Anderson in the next review, and hopefully I'll have Masterath in a future review. Hopefully, I think I'm booked for Series 1, but Series 2 is definitely always available to you.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right, so see you later, and goodbye.
Hey guys.
Bye.